Hello and welcome to a new lesson of the Ajax Foundations course of Race Karate. Don't forget to go to the article of the video and start following along. We have here some references, resources, and previous steps for you to follow and start the lesson. So, first of all, what we're going to do here is to use Ajax using jQuery instead of use plain JavaScript. Okay, so if you don't know what's jQuery, it's the most popular JavaScript library that allows us to implement many functionalities pretty fast and easy. Um, if you want to know more about jQuery, here is the jQuery Basics course link in the article video for you to take the course and know more about jQuery. So let's get started. So here we have an index2.html file that if we go here, if we preview it, let's preview it. So you will see that it's the same exercise we did in the lesson 2, our first example with Ajax. So we load some HTML using a button with a reload page. So that's what we're doing. So let's convert that code here. Well, let's make sure that we are uh, running our coffee script compiler. Here I have the main.coffee file, and here we have all this chunk of Ajax code, but we are going to comment it and let's see what we have here. So what we are doing here is a get request. So let's go to the jQuery API page, and here in the Ajax shorthand methods. So let's go there and let's see what we have there. So here you can see the jQuery get method, jQuery get JSON, get script, post, and load. So we want to make a get request, so let's use jQuery get method. So let's see inside of it what we have here. So it receives some parameters. One is the URL, the data that is a JavaScript object, and a success function that it's basically the callback. So let's see something like this: jQuery jQuery.get. Here we have the URL, we have the data, and we have a callback. We can replace this jQuery with a dollar sign. Okay, it's the same. It's smaller, it's shorter. Here we have a URL, and the URL can be anything we want. So let's say employee.php or .rb. We can have here a data that can be a JavaScript object. So let's say first name Sebastian, last name Valandia, and a callback that is the callback function. Okay, and this function receives a parameter that is the response, that is the result of the Ajax call. So here we can do whatever with the response. So this is the way we implement the get method of jQuery. I like more to you to to add it here directly. Okay, so the data can be this hash first name Sebastian, last name Valandia, and the callback directly as an anonymous function. So response. So this is the way I like to use it, and you will see it in many codes out there. So you can use variables, or you can add the arguments directly in the function. Okay, so this is the way we use it. Let's convert this into jQuery with Ajax. So the first thing I want to do is to create this send Ajax function, and here this is the function we trigger when we click this button here. Okay, so let's continue. As you can see here, we had to check many things. We had to create an XML HTTP request object. We need to check the state of the request, and we need to do many things. We need to send it manually. So let's see how we can make this easier with jQuery. So let's say get, the URL is jumbotron. That's HTML. And we are not going to send any data. Remember that the data is how this is a get request. If we send data, it's going to be sent to the URL using a query string. If you don't know or don't remember about query strings, I'm going to give you the link of a previous lesson where we explained what is a query string. Okay. JavaScript, jQuery converts the data we pass in the function into a query string when we use get methods. Okay. In this case, we are not going to send any data because we don't need to. And let's create the response. And the callback function. And within this function, I'm going to replace what we get in that response into the Ajax div. And also we need to hide the button. It's just for make this better. Okay, so let's see what we get here. So if we reload the page, we need to see it working the same, and it is working. So let's see. Instead of all these steps, with just 2 lines, we did what we were making in some like 4 or 5 lines. Okay, and even better, we have these. We can do this in even less lines. If we go again here to shorthand methods, we can use the load method. It loads data from the server and plays the return HTML into the matched element. So we can use this. Let's copy this, but also I'm going to comment it. Okay, so here we don't need to use get. We can use the following. Let's say we can use a selector here, and when we are going to select the Ajax div and load the contents of Jumbotron HTML. And with 1 line, we make the same as the previous solutions. So as you can see, jQuery gives us different paths for the same results. So this is a great way we can use different solutions. So we can use the get, or we can use the load, or even write it in plain Ajax, plain JavaScript. Okay, so next thing I want to do is to open the call center exercise, and let's convert this into into Ajax with jQuery. So if I go to the code, let's make just an adjustment here. Move this jQuery script above the widget.js. So when we use jQuery in this widget.js, we have the jQuery available. Okay, so let's go within the widget. I'm going to comment all these, and let's use jQuery. So in this case, we're loading a JSON. Okay, so let's see if jQuery has something for that, and it has. It's the jQuery.getJSON method, and as you can see, it has 3 arguments: URL, data, and a callback function. Very similar to the jQuery get. Okay, so let's do it. So I'm going to $get JSON, and here in the URL I'm going to load the data /agents.json. This is where our JSON is. To delete this. And next, we can send data, but in this case, we are not sending any data to the server. So I can just write the callback function directly. So we have a response. And here we are going to write all these. Let's convert all these into what we need. So we can. So let's move this. Great. So, well, in this case, we don't need this line, and we don't need this neither. Why? Because the Get JSON function gives us in the response an object, so we don't need to use the JSON parse method because it already comes as a JavaScript object. So we can just, here instead of say agents, we can say response, and it's gonna work the same. Okay, so let's see if it still works, and it should still works, which is HTML. Oh, this one. So we erased accidentally a null. Sorry. Okay, so let's reload it again, and it should start working. Great. Now let's modify something in the JSON. Let's say that Sebastian is online. So let's set this to true. Let's reload it, and here it is working. So as you can see here, we use jQuery for the load the JSON, and we saved many lines of code. We don't need to create XML HTTP request object. We don't need to check the state of the request. We don't need to send it to define it. With just one method and a callback function, we can do everything we need using jQuery. In the next lesson, we're going to start posting data using jQuery and Ajax. So don't miss it, and see you in the next lesson. If you like the video, give us a like. Bye bye.